Well, that's pretty
good.
cool.
There you go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Block 10, which is spines.
You're actually going to say
I
something?
am. I don't know if you heard our mumbles before, but this is the perfect block for a chick flick, a glass of wine, and you won't make a mistake. Just use your markers because it's easy to memorise.
Just use your markers. Yeah, make sure you mark the beginning and the end of the rows.
Oh, and where you need to do your single crochets after the spine. If you've got a glass of wine, that's how I did mine. Actually, I did mine with the gin and tonic.
Anyway, oh, did you? I did. Oh, good on you. There you go.
Oh, so, and yes, this one is mine. Notice that it's not floppy like Toni's. So I'm a tighter knitter, and it doesn't matter if you don't get a 12-inch block. None of mine are 12 inches, but they're still beautiful.
Claire's are closer to 12, and they don't have as much stretch. See? So you might notice that this one is reversible, and it really won't matter. It'll be up to you when you put your block together, whether you put your spines this way or you put it that way. And have you done all the way around the edge?
I have.
As well. Oh my goodness. Yes, you have too.
Yeah. But it's not blocked. So this is what it's like. That's why it's not as supple as it could be. It will be more supple.
What I will say is the spines on one side sit there, and I don't know if you can tell from here, but the spines on the other side sit in the middle of the spines on the opposite side. So one row your spines sit one stitch in, and the other row they sit 3 or 4 stitches in. So they're opposite to each other. Or, no, not opposite, what's that, counter?
Just in the middle.
In the middle, yeah. There is another word for it, but I can't think of it right now. So yes, I hope you enjoy it. It's maybe a little bit easier than the one you just did before. This is just all front post stitches where it's raised, but it is the row below. So you've got to watch what you're doing a little bit when you do that. And the tip is turn your hook onto its side to get into the row below, and it's much easier rather than having the hook facing you like you normally would. Just rotate your hook onto the side and you might find that a little bit easier to work. All right, I hope you enjoyed. Claire certainly did by the sound of it. She was very chatty. That's the first time, and we finally got to block 10, and she's actually chatting. How good is that? Okay, let's hope you enjoy this one. Okay. Bye. Hello everybody, welcome to block 10. This is spines. So as you can see, this is the completed block. So this is how it looks, unblocked. All right, you can see we've got all these lovely lines going up and down the block, and the block is completely reversible. Put that one over there, and I've got one started here. You can see in the pale grey. So I thought I'd work in the pale grey today to show you how it all works together. So I'll pop that over there for you. And we'll be using some markers today so I can help you keep track. So we're just going to start with a foundation half double crochet row, because I'm not sure whether we've shown you how to do that before. So we start with 2 chain, and then we're going to work a foundation half double crochet into that first chain. So we miss the first one on the hook and we go down into that one there. So you turn your hook over, you should be able to see we've got 2 bars from that chain there into there, and we're going to make a chain and then a half double crochet. And you can see the V here, this is the chain that we made. So yarn over and we go into this chain, making sure we go through the 2 loops. If you only go through 1 loop, it makes your base loose and loopy. So we make a chain, yarn over, make a chain and pull through for a half double crochet. Yarn over, into the chain, make a chain and make a half double crochet. When I make this, I tend to chant to myself when I do a foundation row because I tend to forget where I'm at. So I go chain and stitch, Then I'm doing a chain, and stitch. You tend to work sideways, so if I turn that, you can see I've got a row of little V's along the bottom here. These are my chains, and then these V's here are the top of my stitches. So I can see I've got my chains and then my stitches. So I'm now got to put a yarn on and go in here and make another chain. So that's one, that's a chain and a stitch. So I need to do this until I've got 36 or 35. So that's a chain and a stitch. So we'll just check the count. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 35. Right. Now before we turn, I'm going to put a marker in this first chain here. So leave that in there. And I'm going to turn my work, and row 3 says chain 1, and this doesn't count as a stitch. And then I'm going to put another marker in this stitch. Okay, there. Then it says 1 single crochet in the next stitch, which is here. So we're going to do a single crochet in here. Then we're going to do a front post double crochet in the next stitch. Now if it's hard to identify the next stitch because it's the very first row, use the V at the top of the stitch to help you identify the stitch. So it's this one here. So come directly under and under the next V. So it's there. Bring the yarn to the front and pull that through. Then we're going to do 1, pull through twice. That's your double crochet. Okay. Then we're going to do into the next stitch beside it 1, 2, 3. My yarn's feeling a bit tight, so I'm going to pull out a bit more, remembering to keep your yarn nice and loose because that's what affects your tension. So now we're going to find the next stitch to do the front post on, which is here. Bring the hook up and you can see if I pull that out, it's got that stitch. Yarn to the front, 1, 2, that's a front post. There, this is where your stitch marker is helpful because that's holding onto that chain, but you've got a stitch in here that you're going to do your last single crochet onto, so you can hang on to that to help pull it out. There we go. So that's your first row completed there. So you should be able to see you've got all these lovely nice front posts all the way along here with a stitch marker at one end and a stitch marker at the other. So you've got 1 single crochet and a front post here and a front post here and 1 single crochet here. So you know that that's right. All right. So now we're going to turn our work and do another chain to start the next row, remembering that these chains don't count as rows. Don't worry if these get pulled out because you'll cover them with your, you know, when you go around the edge. So don't get too worried about them. Just put your marker back in here, remembering that they'll be handy. So now we're going to do row 4, which is your chain 1. Then you're going to work 3 single crochet, so that's 1 here. Your second single crochet will be in the top of that one, which is the top of the post or the front post double crochet. Then 3. Then you're going to do a front post double crochet around this one here. So in here, like that, this way, okay, which is just here. So now we're going to do 3. So and we're going to work the next row so we can show you how to work into the row below now. Now I'm going to do row 3 again, which is actually row 5, which is the start of your repeat. So I'm going to move the marker and show you how to work in the row below. So move the marker into the chain. So now I'm going to do a single crochet into this first stitch here, there. Then we're going to do a double crochet around the post of this stitch here. Even though it looks like we should be working in this row, we're going to work around the post of this one. So I want you to turn your hook onto the side so it's sitting sideways against your work like this. So not like this, sideways against your work. And if you slide your hook like that through there, you will be able to get through without any problem. Yarn goes over there and then you can just work the stitch over that, and then it gives you your lengthened post. You know you're going to work your next front post over this post down here. So you need to work 3 single crochets in between. So if you look at your work, you can see you can fit 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So we just do maybe 1 there. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. Now it's a double crochet, so we put yarn on, turn your hook on its side, find where it'll go through, yarn over, pull the yarn through, work your double crochet, then do another 3 single crochet. So that's your row 5, and you can see now it's starting to come up. So when you turn it over, you think, oh, where are they gone? But they're here. See, they're just there. So this is the row we've just worked. And here on the other side is the, what do we call them? The front posts. So it'll be easier to see on this one. So when you work both sides, so the right, it's easy to tell the right side row because the right side row, this one starts right at the bottom. Yeah, like that. The wrong side row, they start further up. Right, so it doesn't start until here. Okay, and when you look at it, I don't know if you can tell from the camera, but here, look, if I do that, can you see? Does that help? Maybe, I don't know, but you can see they're sort of like a staggered pattern that way. So they're not exactly the same either side. Right, but it is a nice reversible pattern and I think it's quite nice to do. It's quite rhythmic and relaxing. It's just mastering that sliding the needle through. And yeah, so that's block 10, spines. I hope you enjoy it.